Hi, my name is Abhinav Lohia. I'm the Managing Director of Global Business Development at Golden Gate Global EB-5 Investment Fund, headquartered in San Francisco, California. In today's video, I will cover the requirements for an EB-5 visa. The EB-5 visa program was established in 1990 by the US Congress and is administered by USCIS. It is a direct pathway to US permanent residence and falls under the investment immigration category. Today, I will cover the following requirements: the minimum investment amount, lawful source of funds, at-risk investment, job creation, conditional permanent residency, and removing conditions on your permanent residence. The minimum investment amount required to qualify under the EB-5 visa program is $800,000 in specially designated areas known as targeted employment areas. These areas are of two kinds. One, rural. Two, high unemployment. There is a third category under which you can qualify for the 800K investment, and that is infrastructure. If a project is not designated as rural, high unemployment, or an infrastructure project, the investment amount increases to $1,050,000. To qualify for an EB-5 visa, simply investing $800,000 is not enough. The funds need to be properly documented, and the path of funds should be properly trailed. So there are multiple ways an investor can invest for an EB-5 visa. The typical sources of funds are either real property or immovable property, or movable property such as cash, savings, etc. In order to document your property or the real property for your source of funds, you first have to document how you acquired that property. It could be a self-acquired property, which you bought with your savings or with a mortgage. It could have been gifted to you. It could be inherited, or there could be a court decree transferring the property to the investor. To document professional income, first you have to build a story around your professional life, talk about the company that you work for, your role, etc., employment agreements, HR letters, etc. Document the salary that you receive. You have to show bank account statements, etc. If you invested part of your salary in an investment portfolio, so you have to give out portfolio statements to show transfer of funds to the investment account, and then growth of your funds, and finally liquidation. You could also fund your investment with ESOPs, that is employee stock options, or RSUs, as they're called in the States. In addition to this, there are other sources such as business income, in which case, not only do you have to document your role in a business, but also prove the existence of that business with articles of association, a lot of bylaws, etc., incorporation documents. The funds can be gifted as well, as long as the person who's gifting the funds can document these funds. And the funds can originate in the United States or overseas. Also, investors are allowed to use loans as a source of funding their EB-5 investment. And this could be a secured loan that is secured by an immovable property or real property, that is a home against your house or a home equity line of credit. It could also be an unsecured loan, which is a personal loan, not secured by any underlying asset, but you're still on the hook to repay that loan. So these are some of the popular ways of funding an EB-5 investment. The next requirement is that your funds need to be placed at risk. Now, let me make this clear. At-risk investment does not mean a risky investment. All it means is to qualify for an EB-5 visa, your funds cannot just be in a bank account. They need to be invested in a project. Also, they cannot be invested in government securities or government bonds. So a lot depends on the quality of the project. So the first thing in EB-5 is that 99% of the petitions are filed with USCIS licensed regional centers. These regional centers sponsor projects, which means they raise capital and then give it as a loan or preferred equity or equity fund to the project. So obviously, it makes sense to work with a reputable regional center with a proven track record of compliance and job creation in the past, and also history of capital repayment. Because in EB-5, you invest your capital, but you do get it back after 3 or 5 years or whatever the loan term is for that particular project. You should also conduct a thorough due diligence, review the project's performance, financial projections, permits, etc., developer's history in that particular geography and with that asset class. And obviously, informed decisions increase the chance of immigration and financial success. So again, at-risk investment doesn't mean a risky investment. All it means is that your money cannot remain in an escrow account or a personal savings account for you to qualify for an EB-5 visa. The next and the most important part outside of source of funds is the job creation requirement. EB-5 visa program requires you to create 10 new full-time jobs per investor. The way this is achieved is again by giving a loan or investing in a project, and whatever jobs are created in that project are attributed to EB-5 investors. And this job creation obviously needs to occur within the USCIS defined timelines, and investors must follow all guidelines to maintain compliance and secure permanent residency. So once you cross all these hurdles of source of funds and investing in a qualifying project, you receive a conditional permanent residence card or a conditional green card. And this is done by filing Form I-526E, where you show your lawful source of funds and also submit the business plan for the project, which contains economic analysis, job creation report, targeted employment area certificate, etc. After your petition is approved, you and your family, which includes your spouse and unmarried children under the age of 21, also known as qualifying dependents, they all get a conditional green card, and you have the right to live, work, and study anywhere in the United States. Something to note, conditional green card and an unconditional green card are functionally pretty much the same. There is no difference, just that the validity of a conditional green card is 2 years, because in 1 year and 9 months and before the end of 2 years, you have to file for removal of conditions. To remove conditions, investor must file an I-829 petition. And in this, you have to show that your funds were actually deployed in the project and did not remain in the escrow account and resulted in creation of 10 new American jobs. To learn more about EB-5 visa, you can log on to our website, www.3gfund.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.